Hello, I'm Ajay from Canonic, and in this video, you will learn how you can interact with external database in Canonic. So we will begin by creating a workflow. Name it get all users. Workflow in Canonic is a way to create API endpoints and automations. You can attach any number of webhooks to your workflow, and webhooks can be of different types, such as integration function, which lets you write custom JS function, database query nodes, API, which lets you make external API calls, output, loops, and conditional. So we will begin by creating DB query since we want to interact with the database, and I want to interact with my MongoDB. So I'll select MongoDB. Here I'll paste in the connection string. I have a Atlas hosted MongoDB instance, so that's where I copied my connection string from. Then we'll jump on to required type. Now my database has this collection called users, and operation I want to perform is find will get me all the users, so query will be nothing for now. We'll leave options empty as well. We'll limit it to 5. We'll test it, and yeah, it has 4 users and it is returning the data. But for visualization purposes, I just want this data. I don't want the boolean. So what we can do here is we'll create an output node. We'll call it process users. Output key will be users. Um, Whatever this JS function will return, right? It will be binded to your output key. So that is why we have this output key. So we'll expand this, and what we can do here is return params and 1.data. So why did I put params.1? So params. So params is the parameter that we receive in all the functions, and it has the output or execution list from all of your workflow. So one, because array wise counting, raw query is the first node. So this is the zeroth node, this is the first node. So that is why params.1.data. So I should be getting my raw queries data in here. So let's just test this if this is working. And yeah, our data is binded to users key, which was our output key. So yeah, it is working. So let's jump on to visualization. We'll create a page called dashboard. Canonic UI comes with this various components which you can just drag and drop and configure. For visualization purpose, we just need table. Table comes with this pre-filled data which we will get rid of. We want our data to be coming from this workflow called get all users, and here we have binded it to users key. So yeah, it has already populated, but these columns were from previous data, so we will generate the new columns for this data. So it automatically generates based on your data. That's why we processed it this way, so it will be auto recognized here. We'll confirm, and all our data is here. Awesome. What else we can do here is we can, let's say I want to delete a user, let's say David Wilson. We can create a workflow so it can execute this delete one query on our database. So we'll jump on to workflow again. We'll say delete a user, and then we'll create a DB query webhook. It will be MongoDB. Connection string we have already saved, so we don't need to do it twice. Required, once again we will be dealing with collections. Operation will be delete one. Query would be, let's assume you want to delete a user based on their email. So we'll put in the key as email, and here we want to get this data dynamically. So Canonic offers a way to do that using this double curly braces. So this is like the template where you can pass in your dynamic data. So I will pass input dot email. So I'm assuming by the time this will wrap it in curly braces, so it will be sorry, double inverted comma, so it will be a string. So what I'm assuming is I'll have this input. It will contain this key called email, which will contain the value of the email. But where will I get this input from? So this is what you can configure in the API node, but I missed some configuration setting here. So we'll just put it. Okay. So now we have completed this configuration. We'll configure the input. Input will be email. It will be of type string and it will be required. Awesome. So now our delete query is all set. We'll just hook it onto the table. So table comes with these two default row actions. We'll delete this edit one. We'll just deal with delete action. So in here you can see there is this on click action. And what do we want to do? So what action do we want to perform whenever this delete button is clicked? We want to execute this workflow. So we will select execute a workflow. Workflow will be delete a user. Now we have configured the input in our workflow, so we have to provide that input. So what I want to do is whenever I click on delete, I want to delete that particular user, in this case David Wilson. But how can I get his email? That is easy in Canonic. So all you have to do here is select this component. This is the only component, so the table component. And of this table component, I want to get the selected row. So as you can see here, there's a selected row. Selected row has data of the all the data of that particular row, like name, email, phone, address. All I want to get here is email. Awesome. Now the email is populated here. So whenever I click on delete, it will execute this workflow. But we also want some sort of a feedback to be given to user that, hey, their action has been performed, right? So we can configure that as well. So we'll select the second action to show an alert. Here too we can use dynamic data, that is more fun. So table selected row dot name getting David Wilson, will say user David Wilson deleted. Okay, and alert type will be success by default. Uh, Now after the deletion has taken place, I want to refresh my table to update the data, right? So what I can do here is refresh a component. Component is a table component, and configuration wise, that's it. So after our configuration is done, if I click on any of the user, it should be able to delete that user. Let's delete Emily Patel. Click on delete. Shows user Emily Patel deleted. It refreshes my table and the query is executed. If I want to see what happened, what the query is executed, I can go to canvas. I can see, oh, this query called Emily Patel at example.com is executed. It took 708 ms. It was the workflow it executed was delete workflow. This is the MongoDB's default response of it. Similarly, we can also check get all users, so you can check its logs as well. And this is the brief overview of how you can interact with the external databases in Canonic. I hope you got something to learn from this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.